In March of 2024, the Brown family and the millions who have watched their lives unfold on Sister Wives were rocked by an unimaginable tragedy, the loss of Robert Garrison Brown. He was 25 years old. In the wake of this heartbreak, a fractured, shattered family was forced to come together, to stand on the same soil, and to mourn a son, a brother, and a friend. For years, viewers have watched the once unified polygamous family disintegrate. We saw the bitter estrangement between Kody and his sons, particularly Garrison and Gabriel, an estrangement so deep that Kody himself admitted they were not talking. The grief was compounded by this unresolved conflict. But in the face of death, there is often a flicker of hope, a hope for healing, for truces, for a father and his children to finally see past the anger and find comfort in each other's shared sorrow. The world was shown a picture of unity. We saw Kody and Janelle standing side by side, burying their son. We saw Kody dig Garrison's grave with his own hands, a powerful symbolic act. We saw the siblings huddle together for strength. But that, it seems, was only the public story. That was the carefully curated narrative presented for the cameras. Today, we are not talking about the public story. We are talking about what was not shown. We are piecing together insider reports, fan accounts, and deep analysis of the footage we do have to uncover the alleged secret behavior that happened away from the main cameras. We are investigating the moments at Garrison's memorial that, according to numerous sources and family insiders, didn't just fail to heal the family, but may have been the final, devastating blow that severed the last remaining threads between Kody Brown and his estranged children forever. This is the story of what really happened in Wyoming. Hello and welcome. What you are about to hear is a deep dive into one of the most sensitive and explosive topics in the Sister Wives universe. We will be approaching this with the respect Garrison's memory deserves, but we will not shy away from the hard questions. The central question is this: how could a family united in the most profound grief imaginable emerge from that experience more divided than they were before? To understand what happened at the funeral, we must first rewind. We must understand the war that preceded this tragic and temporary ceasefire. You cannot understand the devastation of a final broken thread unless you understand how frayed, how thin, and how damaged that thread already was. The estrangement between Kody Brown and his sons, Garrison and Gabriel, was not a new development. It was a festering wound, years in the making, which the COVID-19 pandemic ripped wide open for the world to see. It was a conflict not just about rules, but about respect, loyalty, and a complete breakdown of the father-son bond. Kody didn't just lose his sons at the funeral. The foundation for that loss was laid long ago. It began with Kody's infamous, hyper-strict COVID protocols. While the rest of the world was adopting guidelines, Kody, under the heavy influence of his fourth and only remaining wife, Robyn, created a set of rules so draconian they were practically designed to force a choice: him or the world. For Garrison, who was saving up for a down payment on a house, and Gabriel, who was in college and had a girlfriend, these rules were untenable. They were young men, living their lives. But in Kody's eyes, their refusal to completely isolate was not a difference of opinion. It was a personal betrayal. Kody demanded obedience. What he got was defiance. And that defiance was led, vocally, by Garrison and Gabriel. They were not just not complying. They were, in their own words, defending their mother, Janelle, who they felt was being marginalized, gaslit, and financially mistreated by Kody and Robyn. Garrison, in particular, was vocal. He had allegedly told Kody, "I'm done. I'm done with you. I don't want to talk to you." This was not just a son being angry. This was a son drawing a line in the sand, protecting his mother and his own sanity from a father he no longer recognized. And what was Kody's response? Was it to reach out? To understand? To try and bridge the gap? No. His response was one of patriarchal indignation. He infamously told the cameras that the boys needed to apologize, that he was the victim, that they were being disrespectful, and that the manly man thing to do would be for them to come to him, hat in hand. He even callously suggested Janelle evict her own sons. He told Garrison to his face, "It's your mother or me. forcing an impossible choice. He weaponized parental affection and treated his children's love as a currency he could demand. Kody's own words in the seasons leading up to the tragedy are chilling in retrospect. He said, "I'm not in a relationship with Gabe and Garrison. I'm not. I'm just not." He spoke of them with a cold detachment, as if they were business associates who had wronged him, not the sons he had raised. This was the backdrop. This was the state of the union when the family received the call that Garrison was gone. Kody was not grieving the loss of a son he was close to. He was grieving the loss of a son he was actively at war with. And that, right there, changes everything. It frames the funeral not as a simple act of mourning, but as a complex political and emotional minefield. In the Sister Wives special episode titled, "He Heals the Brokenhearted," TLC presented a narrative. It was a narrative of healing, of unity, and of a father's profound physical act of love and mourning. And to be clear, much of what was shown was undeniably powerful and heartbreaking. The family gathered in Wyoming, a place Garrison loved, a place where the Brown family has deep roots. It was here that Kody, Janelle, and all of the wives and children would say their final goodbye. The centerpiece of this narrative was Kody. Cameras, positioned at a respectful distance, captured him digging Garrison's grave. This was not a symbolic gesture. He was, with the help of his brother and brother-in-law, physically carving out the final resting place for his son's ashes. In his confessional, Kody, with tears in his eyes, framed this as a final act of fatherhood. This act was, by all accounts, deeply moving. Janelle herself, the mother at the center of this storm, confirmed that Kody had contacted her and asked to be the one to dig the grave. She told the cameras, "I thought it was perfect. I think it's symbolic and poetic and all the things to have Kody dig that hole." And in one of the episode's most gut-wrenching moments, we see Janelle hand the urn, a beautifully crafted Viking ship, to Kody to be placed in the ground. She said of that moment, "There's some symbolism in me handing him to Kody. And even though Kody and I have our big differences in that moment, we were just parents." That is the story the world was told. That in the crucible of grief, the anger was burned away, and all that was left were two parents mourning their child. The episode showed the other siblings. Paydon, placing his own military dog tags in the grave to be with his brothers. Hunter, Michael, Christine, all of them united, for a moment, in shared pain. The episode concluded with a sense of fragile hope. Kody himself was quoted as saying that any bristling between family members got buried there that day. If you only watched this episode, you would walk away believing that this tragedy, as horrific as it was, had a silver lining. It had forced the Browns to become a family again, but that is not what happened. According to insiders, and according to a deeper analysis of the events surrounding that burial, the truce of Wyoming was a facade. And the man who broke it, allegedly, was Kody himself. The secret behavior wasn't a secret at all to the family members who were there, and it was a pattern of behavior that confirmed their very worst fears about him. This is the core of our investigation. The secret behavior was not one single act, but a series of actions and choices Kody allegedly made during the memorial events that proved to his grieving children that he was, and always would be, focused on only one person, himself. We've broken down the three most cited allegations from insiders and fan analysts. The first crack in the public narrative came from the pilgrimage itself. Kody framed his journey to Wyoming as a sacred mission to bring his boy home. But fan accounts and insiders who have analyzed the footage paint a very different picture. The TLC special included footage of Kody driving some of his children, including the grieving Gabe and Savannah, around Wyoming. Was this a quiet, solemn trip to share memories of Garrison? According to critics, no. It was, as one popular Reddit thread described it, the Kody meet tour. Kody was filmed prancing around like a peacock, taking his children to his old sales routes, showing them where he used to work, and regaling them with stories about his past. One commentator noted that the children in the car, particularly Gabe, looked like prisoners of war, trapped in a car with the man they were estranged from, being forced to listen to his nostalgia tour while they were actively shattered with grief for their brother. Think about the emotional disconnect. Your brother has just died. Your father, who you haven't spoken to in years because of his narcissism, forces you into a car. And instead of saying, "I'm sorry, I love you," or "Tell me your favorite story about Garrison," he takes you to an old building and says, "This is where I used to sell products." It's not just tone deaf. It's a breathtaking act of self-centeredness. It sent a clear message to the OG kids. Even this, the burial of your brother, is still somehow all about him. This act, while filmed, is secret in the sense that its true, narcissistic nature was buried under TLC's touching pilgrimage edit. The kids, however, saw it for what it was. This is, perhaps, the most egregious reported behavior. This is the moment that, for many, defines Kody's secret behavior. At the burial, at the very moment of interment, Kody allegedly made a speech. And that speech was not about Garrison's life. It was about Kody's dream. According to multiple reports and leaks from the funeral, Kody stood before his family, before Janelle, before Garrison's grieving brothers and sisters, and told a story. He claimed that Garrison had come to him in a dream after he had passed. And what did Dream Garrison have to say? Kody's Source 2.2 recounted the alleged dream, saying, "Garrison was sitting in my bed and it wasn't sad. I said, 'Why you gone, boy?' He said, 'I'm not, ain't that bad here. Stop listening to sad music. It sucks when I'm hanging out with you. But I'm okay. Just stop with the sad music.'" Let's pause and analyze the sheer audacity of this. At his son's funeral, a son who died in despair, partially fueled by the estrangement from his own father, Kody manufactures a narrative of absolution. He uses his son's voice to tell the family, to tell Janelle, to tell Gabe, to stop listening to sad music. He's not just centering himself. He's actively scripting his own forgiveness from beyond the grave. He's telling the mourners that he has the inside track, that Garrison has already visited him, and that everything is okay. Fan and insider backlash to this was immediate and brutal. Source 4.2. As one commentator put it, he didn't fool anyone. This was seen as a manipulative, narcissistic ploy to co-opt the narrative of Garrison's passing. He couldn't get forgiveness from his son in life, so he claimed it in death. He took the most sacred, painful moment of the memorial and hijacked it to make it about his own guilt and his own self-created absolution. He was, in effect, giving himself the eulogy of a forgiving father. For the siblings who knew Garrison's real pain, who had his final texts, this speech must have felt like a grotesque distortion, a final, unforgivable lie. This allegation is more of a rumor, but it is one that has persisted and is sourced from keen observers. Source 1.1. At the memorial service, which had military honors, a memorial flag was presented. As is tradition, the flag is given to the next of kin. In this case, with Garrison being unmarried, the flag was rightfully presented to his mother, Janelle. The secret behavior here is not an action, but a reaction. According to one detailed report from an observer, as Janelle was being presented with the flag, the entire family was watching her, their faces etched with sorrow and support. All that is, except for Kody. According to the report, Kody was stone-faced, staring at the flag itself. He was not looking at the mother of his son. He was looking at the object. This observation quickly ballooned into a pervasive rumor that Kody, the patriarch, believed he was the one who deserved the flag. That in his mind, he was the head of the family, and this symbol of his son's honor belonged to him, not the wife he had separated from. We don't know if this is true, but his alleged body language, his focus on the object instead of the human, was telling. It fits the pattern. In a moment that was 100% about Janelle's sacrifice and loss as a mother, his focus was allegedly on what he was owed. It's a small, secret detail that speaks volumes, and it's one that the OG kids, who have been trained to read their father's moods and narcissism for years, would have absolutely noticed. So we have the context, a family at war. And we have the funeral, a public story of unity, undermined by alleged private acts of profound selfishness. So, what was the result? Did Kody's ode to his boy heal the family? Did the truce hold? The answer, according to every available source, is a resounding no. The funeral was not a healing moment. It was a test. It was the final exam for Kody Brown. His grieving children, Janelle and Christine, were all there watching. Would he, in the face of the ultimate tragedy, finally drop the ego? Would he put his arms around Gabe? Would he weep with Janelle? Would he finally see them? His behavior, the me tour, the self-absolving dream speech, the cold isolation with Robyn, was his answer. And his children heard it, loud and clear. AN Insider reported to OK Magazine, source 3.1, just weeks after the funeral, that any hope of a family reunion was dead. The source stated, Kody is not even thinking about chances of reconciliation. He's still processing Garrison's death and grieving his loss. But more telling, the source added that Kody had retreated entirely and was internalizing his feelings. This wasn't a man reaching out. It was a man building his walls even higher. The family's actions speak louder than any insider. In the months following the funeral, what did we see? We saw Janelle, Christine, and the OG 13 kids grow even closer. They vacationed together. They spent holidays together. They supported each other. And Kody and Robyn? They were, as always, on their island. Michael T. Padrone, who often tries to play mediator, has made it clear on her social media platforms that they are more distant than ever from Kody and Robyn. The most damning report comes from fan analysis of the family's other gatherings in Wyoming. Source 3.4. The burial was just one event. The OG family, Janelle, Christine, Mary, and all the kids, were together for several days. They gathered, they ate, they told stories, they grieved together. According to reports, Kody and Robyn were invited to all of it. They were extended the olive branch. And what did they do? They kept to themselves. They didn't take them up on a single thing. That is the final destruction. It's one thing to be estranged. It's another to be estranged at your son's funeral. It is a completely different and unforgivable level of cruelty to be invited back in by your grieving family and to say no. That act, that rejection, proved to the kids that the man they knew was gone. The father who had abandoned them for Robyn was not a temporary aberration. He was the final product. The threads were not just destroyed. Kody took a pair of scissors and cut them himself. He confirmed to his children that his real family was with Robyn and that even the death of their brother wasn't enough to make him fight for them. The hope for reconciliation that may have flickered in that Wyoming cemetery was extinguished, not by the old anger, but by fresh new acts of selfishness. When we look back at the tragedy of Garrison Brown, we see a story of a young man who just wanted his father. He just wanted the dad he remembered, the dad who was present and loving, before the family dissolved into the Kody and Robyn show. His final texts to the family were reportedly about his pain, his feelings of being forgotten. The funeral was the Brown family's one last chance. It was a moment gifted to them, at the most terrible price, to finally put the ego aside and just be a family. Janelle and the kids showed up for it. They were willing to bury the anger, just for that day. Source 4.3. He allegedly took that sacred, fragile moment and made it about his pilgrimage, his dream, and his feelings. He proved to his children, who were watching him with broken hearts, that he was incapable of seeing their pain. He could only see his own. The secret behavior at Garrison's funeral wasn't one thing. It was a pattern. It was the confirmation of his ultimate betrayal, the betrayal of fatherhood. The threads are not just destroyed, they are gone. The divide in the Brown family is no longer a rift. It is a canyon. And at the bottom of it lies the memory of a son, whose father, even in death, could not find a way to simply show up for him. The estrangement that contributed to Garrison's despair has now been made permanent, cemented by a father's own actions at his son's memorial. What do you think? Did Kody's behavior at the funeral seal his fate with the rest of his family? Or was it already too late? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Kody Brown shaves his beard so he can get some from wife Robyn. Kody Brown has a new look, but the same old chauvinistic reason for rocking it. On the November 16th episode of Sister Wives, The 56-year-old decided to shave off his facial hair in the hopes of adding some sizzle to his life between the sheets with wife Robyn after she expressed how painful and uncomfortable it had become to kiss him with his beard and mustache. "It's like kissing one of those vegetable scrubbers from your kitchen sink," quipped Robyn in her confessional, while Kody replied in his, "I gotta get rid of this beard so I get kissed more." This was mostly fun banter between spouses. But Robyn did refer to Kody as desperate and as a pig not too long ago because he wanted to bring on a new wife in order to expand his sexual horizons and/or options. On Sunday night, meanwhile, the scene cut to the couple in the bathroom as Kody got ready to transform his appearance. "Promise me we're going to make out like teenagers, and I promise you it won't bother me a bit," he sobbed before counting down and saying goodbye to his grays. In a subsequent confessional, Robyn delved into how she felt the need to hide her public affection for Kody when he was also married to Christine, Janelle, and Mary. "Because of other wives, I've always just been really careful. Kody and I wouldn't be affectionate publicly, but now that it's just the two of us, we flirt a lot," she explained to viewers. Indeed, Robyn has made it clear she wants Kody all to herself. Elsewhere, Kody's former sister wives went ahead ranked how attractive they think men with facial hair are, opening up in confessionals of their own. "Someone said kissing a man without a mustache is like eating an egg without salt," said Christine. "I think facial hair on guys is attractive," added Mary, while Janelle admitted she doesn't have a strong opinion on men with scruff, yet knows she isn't into a full bearded appearance. Kody, of course, has often been very proud about his unique hairstyle. In a previous episode of Sister Wives, Kody, who is the father of 18 kids with Robyn, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, revealed what it takes to maintain his curly locks. Yes, it even includes wearing a hairnet on occasion. "Everybody always wants to give me crap about my hair, but I have to do a lot of work to take care of this hair," Kody told the camera, while his brother Scott said, "Even when he was a pre-teenager, his hair has always been important to him." Robynbrown was tricked into marrying Kody? Sister Wives star Michael T explains how family hid their issues. Robynbrown didn't know the whole truth when she married Kody. We reported on Michael T's recent live stream in which she discussed her extended family, including both close and strained relationships. One of the most complex part of the Sister Wives story has been Robyn joining the family. According to Michael T, Kody wanted everyone to put on a friendly and conflict-free facade for his new wife. But that obviously couldn't last forever. Did Robynbrown buy into a lie before marrying Kody? According to Michael T's YouTube live stream, Robynbrown took years before becoming closed off around the rest of the extended family. Why? Because when she married Kody in 2010, she saw a happy family facade that hid their real problems. "Robyn didn't always used to be this shy," Michael T recalled. Robyn's shyness that she's been the last several years wasn't always Robyn. Remember, she would know. She lived with Robyn ahead of the marriage. "I think a lot of the shyness has been developed because she's been hardened by opinions," Michael T reflected. "And hardened by reality where, like, her family that she thought she was marrying into isn't what she thought it was." Apparently, Kody instructed his 3 wives at the time, all now his exes, and their many children to conceal the family's various problems from his new bride-to-be. "I think when she first joined the family, we were told to present this beautiful front," Michael T recalled. "Kind of like when we first started the show." According to her, Kody instructed the family that we needed to put our best foot forward, and we needed to not have fights and show the world the beautifulness that is polygamy.